G'day nerds. So today we're going to look at temperature and its effect on substances or matter according to particle theory. So when we look at matter as being made up of tiny little particles, what effect does changes of temperature have on that? And our learning goal is that by the end of this we want to be able to explain how very specific, so temperature up, temperature down, changes of temperature will affect the arrangement, so where the particles are, and the velocity, so the speed and direction that they're moving. So this is your vocab. If I just get you to pause the video here, write this down. You'll always have it to refer back to as we go through the lesson. Now, temperature and states of matter, right? In a previous lesson, we've looked at states of matter, okay? So we can go from solid to liquid to gas, and these go through processes of melting and evaporation, or condensation and freezing, or sublimation, that should say deposition, the one where it's going from gas down to a solid. And that is when we increase the energy or decrease the energy. So as temperature increases, particles move further apart, right? And with more speed. So further apart, there's the arrangement. With more speed, there's the velocity. So this leads to change of states of matter, okay? So if the temperature change is large enough. So if we put enough energy in, it will move from one state of matter. It will break those sort of forces holding it together. It'll move from one state of matter into another state of matter. Matter expands as it heats up. So solids will expand. They'll get larger as they heat up. And that's because as they have more energy, the particles move further apart. And if we heat it up enough, it will expand, and then collapse into a liquid. And then if we heat that enough, they'll expand, and not collapse, expand further into a gas. So as we heat it up, the particles move further apart, they expand, and this means the volume increases. So as matter contracts as it cools down, which means the volume decreases as we cool it down. And it's the same thing, right? The particles they lose energy, so they come back together. They're not able to resist that attraction from each other, so they get pulled back together. So as particles spread apart with increased temperature, the density, so how tightly they're packed, decreases. So as matter expands, its density decreases. As we cool it down, its density increases because it will contract. So density is temperature dependent. In other words, every time we see a known density for a substance, that is the density at a very specific temperature. So gases and temperature, this is a little bit interesting, right? So gases increase in temperature and the particles move further apart and faster, just like it does with everything else. And the gas becomes less dense. Nice. This means, however, the gas press harder on the walls of their container, because we know that a property of a gas is that it fills up the container. So this means they will push harder against that container, wanting to increase the volume. So when we have a balloon, because a balloon, unlike a room or a beaker or a stopper with a lid, whatever, a bottle is an elastic container. So as it increases temperature, it will expand because the particles are pushing harder and harder against the wall because they're moving with more energy. So there's an increase in pressure on the walls of the container, and again, that'll lead to expansion. So thermometers are an example of a very obvious increase or decrease in size. So again, we have contraction. When we turn the heat up, we move to expansion. We see that the particles here are further apart. We've got the little shake lines to show that they've got more energy and they're moving. What this looks like is the glass doesn't expand very fast, but the liquid in there, it's usually an alcohol, it will expand quite rapidly because it's a liquid. Liquids find it easy to expand. And this is quite a thin tube in reality. So what happens is, as the temperature increases, the volume of the liquid increases because it expands, so it just moves further up. That's why a thermometer works. So in summary, as substances get hotter, the particles increase in energy. As they increase in energy, they move further apart. Therefore, substances expand as they gain energy, and therefore substances contract as they lose energy. I hope that made a lot of sense. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe so you keep up with everything as it comes out. And yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Bye.